she began to see things differently, a secret no one else could understand. Emily, overwhelmed with fear, pointed at the woman her father called a friend. But how could she prove it when everyone thought she was imagining things? Emily was just 7, curious and full of questions. Her world revolved around her father, their cozy little house, and the memories of her mother she could barely recall. Mark, her father, was her hero. He worked hard at the factory, smelling of oil and metal, but always made time for Emily. They would play board games, read stories, and talk about her day at school. Even as a young girl, Emily noticed the sadness in her dad's eyes. He often sat staring at the sky or holding her mother's old locket, lost in thoughts of the past. One day Mark came home with someone new. "This is Clara, a friend of mine," he said, introducing her to Emily. Clara's smile was warm, but something about her felt off to Emily. Clara presented Emily with a shiny seashell as a gift. It was kind and thoughtful, but Emily couldn't shake the strange feeling that Clara might not be what she seemed. Clara began visiting more often, helping with dinner, playing games, and telling bedtime stories. At first, Emily thought Clara was nice, but something about her was always unsettling. Clara's comment about being reminded of someone from her past only fueled Emily's curiosity. The way Clara hesitated made Emily uneasy, as if there were a deeper, hidden story. One evening, Clara hummed a soft, haunting song as she cleared the dishes. The melody felt oddly familiar, like something from Emily's own past, making her uneasy. Late one night, Emily followed the sound of Clara's footsteps and found her standing in front of a photograph of Emily's mother. Clara's expression was unreadable, filled with a sadness Emily couldn't explain. Clara spent more time at their house, and Emily started noticing that she seemed to fit too perfectly into their routine. The neighbors adored her, but Emily was starting to grow suspicious. Clara suggested a family outing to the beach. But when they arrived, her usual calm demeanor was replaced with an unsettling excitement, and Emily couldn't shake the feeling that Clara belonged to the ocean in a way she couldn't explain. Curious, Emily explored the attic one morning and discovered a bracelet her mother once wore, but what she found next, an old photo of her dad with a woman who looked exactly like Clara, left her shaken. Clara's unsettling gaze later, Clara noticed the bracelet Emily was wearing. Her sharp gaze lingered on it for a moment longer than necessary, making Emily question Clara's true intentions. The final revelation late at night, Emily followed the familiar haunting melody to find Clara standing by the window, humming softly. In the moonlight, Emily thought she saw something strange. Scales shimmering on Clara's leg. Could Clara be something far more than human? Clara always seemed to know things she shouldn't. One day she mentioned Emily's mom's favorite flowers. Emily blinked in surprise. "How do you know that?" she asked. Clara smiled, twirling a strand of her hair. "Your dad told me." Emily was unsure. Her dad didn't talk much about her mom. It felt like a piece of her mom that Clara shouldn't have known. One afternoon, Emily was playing in the backyard when she noticed Clara standing by the kitchen window, watching her. A few minutes later, Clara came outside, carrying a small gardening shovel. She knelt by the tree. "What are you doing?" Emily asked, hopping off the swing. "Planting flowers," Clara said, not looking up. Emily watched as Clara dug a small hole, looking nervous as she glanced over her shoulder. Later that evening, after Clara left, Emily went back to the tree. She grabbed her toy shovel and began digging where Clara had been. Her hands moved quickly, heart racing. She was terrified when she saw it, a tarnished bracelet. Her hand trembled as she picked it up. She recognized it immediately. It was her mom's bracelet. "Dad, look what I found!" Emily cried, running inside. Mark, who was in the living room watching TV, turned. "What is it?" he asked. "It's Mom's bracelet. Clara buried it in the backyard." Mark took the bracelet from her and examined it. "This was your mom's. Where did you find it?" "Clara buried it by the tree," Emily said. Mark's face darkened. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice shaky. Emily nodded. "I'm telling the truth, Dad." "Maybe you just misremembered," Mark said, but Emily clenched her fists. "No, I know what I saw." "Clara's hiding something, can't you see?" Mark shook his head. "Go to bed, Emily. We'll talk about this tomorrow." But Emily knew there wouldn't be any talking. No one believed her. That night the house was quiet. Emily couldn't sleep, her mind racing with questions about Clara. Why would she bury her mom's bracelet? How did she know so much about their family? Then she heard it. A soft creak, like someone searching for something. Slowly, Emily slipped out of bed, tiptoed to her door, and peeked out. Clara was standing at the top of the attic stairs, holding a candle. Emily's heart pounded. What was Clara doing in the attic in the middle of the night? Without thinking, Emily followed her quietly. Clara climbed the attic stairs, the dim candlelight flickering against the walls. Emily waited a moment before creeping up the stairs. She peeked through the slightly open door and saw Clara sitting on the floor, surrounded by boxes of Emily's mom's things, flipping through an old journal.